We know that we join together today because we need a conservative fighter in the U.S. Senate that's going to answer the challenge that was laid down by that great president. And we're also joined together today because we have confidence and we have tremendous optimism that we can win this fight and move forward with opportunity, with prosperity, and with global leadership. You know, I wouldn't be here today poised to take on a great endeavor without the love and support of a remarkable family. And I am beholden to no one except my wife of nearly 30 years, Jenny. You know, together we've raised three remarkable children: Allison, Zach, who's with his beautiful girlfriend Lise today, and Liz, who expanded our family a year ago with her amazing husband Seth. And you know, to all of you, I know that the days ahead, we're going to do what we've always done. We're going to celebrate the highs. We're going to support each other during the lows, and we're going to try to laugh and have some fun along the way. You are the best, and I love you very much. You know, my late father, Mel, was a prosecutor, and my mom, there is a special place in heaven for moms, especially if they were junior high school teachers. And Mom, you being here today means so much to me, as does having my step-parents, Susie and Roger. You've taught me the values that have formed my faith and have guided my life here in Utah. These values, they are the foundation of all that I do. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for all of the sacrifices that you've made for me and all of our family over these many, many years. You know, one last and important recognition that I think we should take before we move on. For all of those that serve to protect us, let's recognize the skill, the professionalism, and the remarkable courage of the retired or active duty members of our armed services and our first responders. Well, as for me, I am a Utah guy. I was born here, I was raised here, and I grew up in a house with 10 kids, and I had to go out in the world pretty quick and get jobs as soon as I could. I worked as a grocery store bagger at a place called Tom's Super Save, and then I really moved up in the world, and I became a stock boy at a place some of you remember called ZCMI. That's right. That's right. Then I worked my way through college at Weber State with a job in the athletic department. And it's at Weber where I met Jenny. I actually know how to say her name. I met Jenny. After college, I decided, and my instinct said, to go out in the world and let's get some results in a couple of different areas, in two different directions. The first was, after a stint in finance, I decided to become what I still believe is the foundation of the American economy, to be a small business owner. As that business grew, and there were some mistakes, and absolutely there were some tough times, and at times I even had to risk it all to assure we had success. But I can say with pride that I've created hundreds of jobs over the years and helped thousands of families realize the American dream of becoming homeowners. In addition to being a small business owner, I have always had a passion to serve. And that passion is as strong today as it has ever been. And that is why we are here today. President Reagan's words about protecting our freedoms have always resonated with me. But I will tell you that is why I cannot stand by and watch while our freedoms are lost and these values are ignored. If left unchecked, it's going to lead to the decline and the decay of this nation that so many have fought for and far too many have died for. What you and I are watching right now across this country is a clear and present danger. The decline and the decay of once great American cities like San Francisco and Chicago has become so bad that citizens of those cities don't feel safe outside their own homes. And that sort of tragic decline is the future of all of us if we don't act. In Washington, Joe Biden and radical leftists, as well as go-along-to-get-along Republicans, are taking us down dead-end streets. These dead-end streets are where schools are teaching our kids what to think instead of how to think, where government right now is handing out so much money that some people can live better lives with handouts than they can by going and earning a paycheck. Prosecutors are choosing to look the other way because they don't like laws, so they choose not to enforce them. And unelected bureaucrats and elitist experts try to impose lockdowns and vaccine mandates on us at the expense of our liberty and our ability to make decisions for ourselves. It does not have to be this way. As someone who's been helping lead the fight to uphold Utah's conservative values for the last 14 years, I can unequivocally tell you that it is not this way in Utah. And now, we have an opportunity. We have an opportunity to send a conservative fighter to the U.S. Senate, armed with Utah's conservative values, who will fight for change, and fight for change that's desperately needed. And this change is long overdue. A conservative fighter with the confidence and the conviction that smaller government and lower taxes, and a belief that supporting the police and enforcing the laws, as well as depending on the free markets instead of free government handouts. A conservative fighter that can actually walk the talk so that we can have a better day for ourselves and a brighter future for our kids. Well, I am that conservative fighter, and that is why and that's why today I am announcing my candidacy to be the next U.S. Senator from Utah. We are launching more than a campaign today. We're starting a movement to protect our freedoms, to deal with the real issues that Utah families are facing at their kitchen table, and to assure that we are a nation of liberty and of opportunity and one of prosperity. I want to start with a challenge that's talked about at kitchen tables all across the state of Utah right now. It's the economy and inflation. I want you to think about this. Since Joe Biden became president, the cost of living for an average family of four has increased by $8,000 a year. With prices of essentials like food continuing to rise, buying a home for the first time has never been harder in this country. Cars are more expensive and difficult to buy than they've ever been. President Biden proudly calls this Bidenomics. Well, that's right. I will tell you what I call this. I call this a painful and a needless burden on Utah's families. That's right. Failed leadership in Washington has done this to all of us with two radical policies: reckless spending and shutting down energy production. Trillions of dollars have been recklessly printed and spent, and I regret to tell you that sometimes that's been with go-along-to-get-along Republicans. Know this: I'd have fought all of it every day and every step of the way. There's an old saying in sports that you simply are who your record says you are. Well, as Speaker of the Utah House of Representatives, my record on taxes is very clear. No other candidate in this race can come close to matching it. I have cut everyone's income taxes not once, not twice, but 3 times. Last year, that's right. Last year, we doubled the dependent exemption for young families. In fact, in the time that I have been Speaker, we have cut your income taxes by over $1 billion. The only way that Washington is ever going to change the way that it taxes and spends your money is to change the people we send to Washington, D.C. It is time to send a conservative fighter that's not going to wave the white flag when the going gets tough, and a conservative fighter that, when needed, can be trusted to go on the offensive and roll back taxes and stop reckless spending that's full of subsidies and full of giveaways. The left has been careless with our money, but unfortunately, it's been even more careless with our energy production. In just a few short years, this country has gone from being energy independent with low gas prices to energy dependent with high gas prices. Biden and his administration has done everything it can to block domestic oil and gas production. Then, when things got so bad, he decided that he needed to go hat in hand over to Saudi Arabia and beg the crown prince to produce more oil, begging on behalf of our country for another country to help us. He was told no. And we all know from the last time that we filled up our gas tanks that the president completely failed. Unfortunately, back in Washington, the response from the bureaucrats has not been any better. Their sad solution has been what it seems to be too often: more government and bigger government to the rescue. They're trying to mandate what kind of cars we can drive, what kind of stoves we can cook on. They even want to tell us what kind of meat we can eat. The power to govern belongs in the hands of those we elect, not with the unelected and unaccountable bureaucrats pushing their personal agendas on the American people. We have to, in this country, produce more energy here at home. Not just wind and natural gas, but nuclear, as well as oil and natural gas, and pursue new technologies. Our economy, our national security, and our way of life depend on it. And you can count on me to fight for all of it. You know, unfortunately, there is one area where the president has expanded freedom, and it's been for illegal immigrants, drug dealers, sex traffickers, as well as gangs and terrorists. Upon taking office, the president basically opened up the border, and now it is almost easier to cross the border into this country than to get into a BYU or a Utah football game. Since becoming president, Biden has allowed 4 million illegal aliens to enter this country, and it has created a crisis across the cities and states all across this country, a humanitarian crisis of unprecedented times. The open border, it is killing Americans. More than 70,000 people last year alone died of fentanyl that was sent special delivery by the drug cartels across that border. These are terrorists, and they must be dealt with accordingly. The Senate needs not just more Republicans, but more conservative fighters who are going to ensure once and for all that we secure our border. You know, the economy and the border are under attack, but so are our constitutional rights. There is an all-out war going on right now to take away our right as Americans to keep and bear arms. And it's going to take a senator with the backbone to stand up and stop them. And my stance and my record is very clear. The Second Amendment is absolute, and I'll always strongly defend and protect it. In fact, I'm not going to just protect it. I'm going to help lead the counterattack like we did here in Utah. I am proud that as Speaker of the House, I helped lead the passage of constitutional carry in the state of Utah. Some of my opponents in this race offer colorful rhetoric, but in fact, I get and do get real results. You know, clearly there is a lot at stake, and there is a lot on the line. But let me assure you, while I am a realist about the fight that we face, I am also an optimist about what lies ahead. We have to accept our responsibilities to fight the good fight, and we will. You know, it's often said that each generation has its own rendezvous with destiny, and ours does too. Our destiny is more, though. It is more than just fighting for our basic freedoms and values and trying to pass them on to our kids. It has to be to unleash the American spirit, which makes the American dream possible, to make sure that our kids have the opportunity to reach their full potential and explore the endless frontiers of science and usher in a new era of innovation to solve our country's greatest challenges. We have got to project American exceptionalism and American strength as a beacon of global strength and prosperity. Other generations of Americans, they have risen to the occasion and met their rendezvous with destiny, and they've faced down challenges and forged their way to a better future, and I know that this generation can as well. To paraphrase Lincoln, we must have faith that right makes right. Let me say that again. We must have faith that right makes might, and dare to do our duty to set our country back on the right course. So, it is our time. Let's do everything we can right now to seize this moment. I know that we can, and here's why. Because I am every bit as much a conservative optimist as I am a conservative fighter. I've got to tell you, this campaign, it isn't about me. It's about you and what we can do together to turn this country around and move forward to a better day. So I want to hear from you. There's a lot of you here. I want to ask you some questions. Shout out loud, yes or no, and tell me what you think. Do you want a conservative fighter that's going to reject liberal activists, but support Supreme Court justices like Kavanaugh, Gorsuch, and Amy Coney Barrett? All right. Good to know. Do you want a conservative fighter that supports the right to life and we'll oppose and we'll oppose laws that allow abortion up to and even until birth. Yeah! And do you want a conservative fighter that has cut taxes, protected the Second Amendment, and relentlessly pushed back on the bureaucrats in Washington, D.C.? And do you want a conservative fighter that believes in the American spirit, the American dream, and American exceptionalism? Well, that's good, because I am that conservative fighter, and I intend to be your next United States Senator. Well, I'm not done yet. So I want you to know this. In conclusion, or starting to conclude, but you should know this. I am going to wage a spirited campaign, a very spirited campaign, and I'm going to show the same conservative fight over the next year that I will when I serve in the United States Senate. And I pledge to you that as your senator, you can always count on me back there to be in the fight with Utah's values of respect, integrity, and tremendous hard work, always at the forefront. And I want to ask you to join with me tonight as we build a movement. Let's get off this road of spending and mandates and the growth of socialism to put our country back on track, back on the highway of life, of liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Our future of our state, and the future of our kids all depends upon it. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your support. God bless you, and God bless America.